Invested show. Today, we're going to talk about fashion and the metaverse. This show really is to discuss anything that's related to IP, but particularly sharing how other people are using intellectual property to grow their businesses, take their businesses to the next level, and also to live the life of their dreams. So today's topic is one that just keeps coming up. So that's kind of where I'm getting these the topics of this conversation. Fashion and the metaverse. Okay, so we have been talking about how Facebook and more and more businesses are now moving and trying to get in on the metaverse. And if you don't know what the metaverse is, you should go back and watch one of my earlier shows where I talk about it. But basically, it is a virtual world, a virtual universe that's on top of the physical world. So there are companies that are literally building out the metaverse as we speak. Um, and I'm going to talk today about a couple of them that are actually doing collaborations with fashion companies in order to take fashion to the next level. And so this is all something that's been really relevant to me. I recently wrote an article on. I had to do research on a really interesting topic and looking at whether or not um, the U.S. laws, their design laws that we have in this country, promote design innovation and whether or not they're good or bad for brand owners. But so I ended up looking at everything, and I looked at the past 10 years in the direction of where fashion and where we're going, and I came to the conclusion that there actually has been this boom in innovation. So innovation in the sense of new business models to allow fashion to function more efficiently, effectively, and address all of the issues that the industry has with the labor and employment issues, also, the waste problem. So, what's come out of that in the past 10 years? Businesses like Rent the Runway, The Real, Authentic Brands Group, these licensing models where they buy companies and keep things really lean and efficient. So now with all of this talk though, that I wrote that article last year. If I were to write this article this winter, I would have definitely included the metaverse, right? Because there are more and more companies that are trying to get in early. And I want to explain to everyone very high level, because we do have a lot of lawyers that watch this, or just business owners in general. I want to explain in very easy to understand terms on why this is important and where it is now and where it's going to be and where it could be. So right now, physical malls are dying. They have been dying for a while. With COVID, it really just kind of put the nail in the coffin. A lot of you have probably seen in your towns that there's a lot of free open space in your malls. And the problem is retail is struggling, physical brick and mortar. So a lot of businesses have positioned themselves for online sales, and a lot of traditional retailers and fashion brands have actually thrived during COVID because they were forced to think creatively. The ones that were still stuck in the physical world, unfortunately, they probably didn't, but a lot of smart business owners and CEOs decided to make quick, intentional pivots that ended up saving their companies, and not only saving their companies, doing really well. So that was whether that was, shutting down retail stores and making everything virtual so you could put orders online and moving to e-commerce. That's the obvious one that we all know about. But now there's this other level of making virtual goods, so virtual fashion products. So selling actual digital goods, whether they're handbags or clothing, that are available for avatars in the metaverse and in these virtual universes. So right now, just to give you like a really high level example, what's happening now, Roblox is one. Roblox is, if you have kids, you probably know about it. It's a gaming platform, right? But not only is it for gamers, there's bands that use it. There's fashion brands that do collaborations on it. And the right now, what they're focused on though is like selling goods or services through the metaverse. So through their virtual world. So the bands that come, you actually watch them digitally in VR. You'll see them perform. You could buy virtual clothing for your avatars. Um, there's brands that are selling really expensive designer handbags in virtual runway shows, and people are buying them like 3,000 plus handbags because they probably do use the metaverse, and these they use their avatars a lot. So you're probably thinking, okay, Francesca, I'm a lawyer, I'm a doctor, I'm a business owner, I have a physical business. I'm not going to be using any of this. This isn't relevant to me. But that's if you write this off, you're going to miss out on an incredible opportunity and also understanding the potential. Okay. So that's basically how things are being used now. But I want to quickly talk about some of the brands that are kind of pushing the space, and then we can talk about where it could go. So Decentraland is one of the metaverse worlds that's being developed right now. They are selling, I can't say the word real, they're selling virtual real estate. Okay. And if any of you know anything about virtual real estate right now, it is extremely expensive. I mean, there's some plots, small plots are thousands of dollars, and there's bigger plots that literally sell for hundreds of thousands of dollars and up. So these companies are like Facebook, are building out their own virtual universes where people can actually go buy space, and then you create your mall or your store or your venue so that you can actually have virtual avatars come in, which are connected to people, right? People who actually have money, so they can come in and trade goods or buy things. So this is just like, if this is kind of blowing your mind, this is happening, and I encourage everyone to kind of check out Decentraland. But so there is a investment company called Republic Realm that announced the grand opening of Metajuku, which is a shopping district in Decentraland. Okay, and so DressX is one of the first digital only companies, fashion companies too, to open a store inside the district. So they sell digital fashion outfits in the store, and then they also like they share NFTs. So I don't know if they sell the NFTs or if they're just like displaying them, but again, this is a lot of potential for commerce in these businesses. So it's really cool. So while real world shopping malls are, like we said, having troubles, half empty, more and more and more is being moved online. So we were forced to move online with COVID lockdown. We're forced to buy our goods online, but now we may be actually able to buy these virtual goods in the metaverse. And so what's happening now is people are looking to digital clothing, and I thought this was a super interesting statistic. It was that 9%. Yes, today nearly 9% of all fashion is acquired for content creation. All right, so we're wearing our clothes, um top ups, or if you're doing more, um for your Instagram posts, your photo shoots, and things like this. So, I don't even think it's just for content creation; it's for virtual working and Zoom calls. So, all of this is to say that the virtual real estate is something that has so much potential because we're slowly migrating into this digital space. And right now, a lot of the fashion goods they're mostly digital, meaning that you actually you're paying not for a physical product, right? You're not paying for a physical dress. You are paying for a dress or a handbag that you can dress your avatar in when you go to the virtual world. But think about this, like, not to freak you guys out, but this is the reality is most of you watching right now, I have a bunch of people watching live, and you'll watch the recordings. We've never met in person. Okay. So yes, I'm real, but all you've seen of me is video and photo. You've never actually met the physical me. All right. But you trust me because you're listening to my videos. You hired me as your trademark attorney and your intellectual property attorney. You have become friends with me. I've made so many friends this past year through social media, like built real relationships that I've clearly taken offline, but I haven't even met physically yet. So just that should be enough of a persuasion point for everyone to understand that the virtual world and the metaverse and avatars, it's just the next step. So companies are trying to get in early to actually invest in virtual real estate because they want to be selling to the people that are going to be using virtual avatars. And I think the most practical way that like my audience and everyone watching can understand this is with Zoom fatigue, right? How many of you guys are sick of being on Zoom? Um, it's just draining. It's really draining. And you just sit there and people see your face and your hair and maybe like top up. But what if you could go to a virtual office where you're sitting in a room, not you, but your virtual self, so your avatar, you're sitting in a room with your peers in, and then you could get up and you could go into another room and have another meeting, or then you could take a break and go shopping, like all in the metaverse without leaving your home. And I know that there's a lot of like, okay, well, that's just like freaky and probably not healthy. And but if you think about it, we have been, in lockdown. We were stuck at home. We were sitting at home. So imagine if you could just, um, you don't need to be in the metaverse all the time, but if there were set meetings where you could actually meet with your people. I think that's the most concrete example that I could give people, of how it's going to likely be the next step is that we're going to see in like professional industries and businesses and people in stores. You're going to be able to sell your products in some of these stores. And then I think that there may also be some sort of there's going to be some sort of physical component. So you could buy stuff and maybe you do get the physical shipped to your house when you also buy a digital. Like there's going to be a lot of potential for these things. But when you're in your office, you're gonna want to dress nice. You're gonna want to make your avatar look like you. You may want to wear your favorite handbags, your favorite clothing. This is something that it's here. It's not in people's ideas. They're building it out. Virtual real estate is already, I'm looking at trademark registrations that are covering some of the virtual real estate. Definitely we're seeing virtual goods with like Nike and some bigger brands. So everyone needs to know about it. I hope I explained it in really high level terms, but it's very exciting. If you are a fashion brand or a company and you're interested in learning about how to protect your IP, I'm happy to chat too. Basically, all the same intellectual property rules would apply. This isn't really anything crazy new. You're going to want to protect your trademarks, and then working with a lawyer who understands this is going to be important because you're going to have to file for the protections in a way that actually covers what you're doing. So you get your trademarks in place. You may want to get some of your copyrights for all of your digital goods. This is another really great tool for fashion, right? Like in the US, we have potential issues with some fashion designs and protecting the products themselves, but maybe you could file your 2D artworks and for your fashion goods, and then you sell them in the virtual world. So you get your copyrights, and then the third is the contracts. So you're going to have contracts in place with the businesses that are creating the virtual worlds for you to sell. You're going to have, maybe there's going to be leases, there's going to be partnerships, you're going to do pop-up shops. Like there's just so much. So from my perspective, my job you still apply the same intellectual property rules. It's just in a different context. This is what we're always doing. So it's really important to work with lawyers who understand these things and can adapt to the new environment, because your brands and your copyrights and all the assets that you're creating are really important, and you're going to want to invest early in some of these virtual worlds so that once things blow up, you're not late to the game and you're not left spending hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars trying to get rights back, or trying to even get your foot in the door to some of these virtual worlds. All right, I know I threw a lot at you guys. I hope that was helpful. This is Legally Invested. I saved this is live right now, but if you're listening past Monday morning on November 22nd. It's definitely a recording. So you can go to YouTube and see all of my past shows. And I hope this was helpful for everyone. If you are interested in any of these topics or have a topic you want me to discuss, shoot me a message or leave a comment below. Otherwise, I will see you guys on the next episode. All right, bye guys.